Well, thank you to be here and for your time and share your time with us. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and well, hello everyone. I hope you are having a great time today. Well, before we start, I really want if you tell us a little about what are you doing, where you come from, please. Who go first?
You go.
Okay.
Yes, hi, I'm Maike Henningsen. I'm a medical doctor. I'm an OBGYN. Thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure. I studied medicine in Hamburg. I became a specialist in OBGYN in Hamburg. I did some research on precision medicine in the US. And then I switched a bit the field of interest because I'm very thrilled by digital health. And now I try to combine both worlds because I'm convinced that digital health will help us a lot. And I also worked in the field of digital contraception, got some insights there. That's it, I would say.
Great.
It's your turn, Ida.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here on this beautiful day. It's hard to be inside when the weather's so beautiful. I co-founded Clue, which is an app to help women understand their bodies and track their periods and many other things related to their reproductive health. We're based here in Berlin and have about 12 million users around the world right now. And actually, just really briefly, my kind of starting point of this whole journey into becoming an entrepreneur in female health was this question of like, why has there been no innovation in family planning since the pill came out so many years ago? So that was a big, almost like a provocation. I was like, really? Really? And decided to try and do something. And then sort of went into period tracking and other things, but I still have this burning sort of desire to see more innovation in this space.
Fantastic. Well done, ladies. You are here empowering us, basically. Well, let's start. At this time, most of us are increasingly using digital health technologies to get daily information for almost everything. And we can choose whatever, well, there are a lot, and we can use it for, well, take health decisions. Apps can provide us an effective method for birth control as well, and to do home diagnosis, and even get a distant medical support. Contraception and women's health are not an exception, but technology and culture are two forces that really influence one to another. And culture reacts in a positive or in a negative way, it depends. It's a complex relationship, and in a society and in a tech arena about the birth control and women's health. And well, the things about rights over women's body have been fully discussed in the last month's US topic. I want to ask Ida, why after baby pills we have not seen great advances in birth control? Because even if we still have drugs with many side effects, intrauterine devices also have little innovation. And not to talk about the absence about the male oral hormonal contraceptive for men. What do you think is behind all of this?
You know, ever since I started, I've been trying to ask people that I met from medical device companies, pharmaceuticals, diagnostic companies, entrepreneurs, investors, like, why is nothing happening? And the answer I keep coming back is so simple that it's hard to believe. It's like middle-aged guys. I don't think they're thinking much about it. I'm like, what? This is arguably one of the biggest use cases on the planet, right? Controlling how many people will be on this planet. And we know that every sort of positive developmental step starts with women having agency over their childbearing. So it's like unfathomable to me. But I think there is some truth in it. I mean, we have pills, and it's kind of working. They make money. And so actually, when I really think about it, I think the biggest problem is that women are not saying, no, it's not good enough. We need something else. Go innovate. Lots and lots and lots and lots of people are still taking hormones because it might be the best option they have. I mean, women are smart. We use the tools that we have. So I will say the biggest first step change is probably people demanding better tools.
That's a good point, and I would like to know the opinion and your side of this story, Dr. Maike. Maike.
Maike.
Sorry.
You can say Maike or Maike.
Yeah, it's good.
So, yeah, I totally can agree with Ida. I think it's exactly what it is. So it's a huge and very simple, let's say to create a new pill is pretty simple because like the recipes we have, we brand them new, and then we have a new product in the market, and women will take them, and then they kind of turn some very small screws there and saying, okay, we have now a natural estrogen in there, or we have like, you know, I don't know, we brand it in a different way. And I think it's really the topic, what you've said, it's the middle-aged men, which are also, which are dominating the OBGYN scene as well. Like most of the head of departments are male and men and middle-aged. So yeah, I totally can agree with what you said. I mean, the women have to stand up and say, no, we don't want that anymore. But on the other hand, we also have to say that pills at the moment are simple and they are very, very safe. You know, that's also the other side of the thing.
Yes, that's a good point, and we need to take. It's safe, but we need to ask for better options. No, that's.
You know, I think the opportunity we have is that we have all these sensors, we can process big data, we have the supercomputers in our pockets, being our phones, we have connectivity. You know, we have the possibility to create something that's truly data-driven. You know, instead of kind of working kind of against the hormones or overruling the hormones or doing something chemically, we could do something that's data-based. And I actually think on that note that we need a different term than digital contraceptive because it's an oxymoron. You know, nothing that'll happen on your phone will, you know, make the sperm cell not reach the egg. Like, you know, it's something else. But it's still helpful. So it's helpful to have something that's digital, but it's not really a contraceptive. So what is it? I mean, we can call it kind of natural awareness, but it's not, that's super unsexy. So an invitation to people to think about what should we call this data-driven thing that help us navigate our reproductive health, but which is not a contraceptive.
Yes, I think this is a main point. No, what users and consumers need, because how many options we have in technologically talking, and in this point, technological development proceeds in one country to another, and. I'm thinking that beyond the difference of the income per capita, do you think developing countries, third developing countries could use these apps to improve birth control and women's health issues, Dr. Maike? I'm thinking in Kenya and Nigeria, what were to become one of the world leaders in mobile payments, for example. I think, I don't know, I am optimistic. And do you think can we see in the future some like this in our field?
The answer is yes, and I also see already there's a lot of many things happening there in these countries. They have already developed a lot of apps for pregnancy care, also for period tracking. I think maybe Ida, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I read that it's 200 million women on this planet are using period trackers already, and it's not only the Western world. And to me, this is especially charming because it empowers women also. So you have the power to decide, am I in my fertile days, am I in my unfertile days, will I get pregnant, will I have like 10 kids, even if I don't want them to have maybe. So it gives women the power to decide over themselves, and that's what I like about it a lot. And it's a cheap tool, right? So they all have smartphones by now, or many of them have smartphones by now. I think in India, even in the rural areas, it's predicted that 20% of the people living in the rural Indian areas will have internet connection and internet access in 2020, so not very far away from now. So, what I also think is that digital tools play a huge role in countries where you don't have infrastructure, so where you don't have doctors, hospitals, education, and in all these countries, digital tools will play a huge role. And that's what I like about them as well.
Great. Ida, you were talking about innovation, devices, data, trackers. I don't know, there can be more for us? Yes? Like what, for example? I'm asking what it will take to truly innovate in this space.
I think
A body incorporate tracking, for example.
I mean, if you want to take it out to sort of sci-fi, I was talking to a device company, medical device company, doing pacemakers and heart implants. Like, why don't we have something that can just really tell us what the heck is going on in our bodies, you know, regarding hormones or other things? I think we are, you know, there's also the users who need to want that, and I don't know if we are there yet. That will be a journey, but you know, my kind of fantasy is to bring together, you know, people from all these different fields, the medical device companies, the pharmaceuticals, investors, innovators, bring them in a room and be like, you have a year, come out in a year and have done the next thing that come after family, you know, after the pill. You know, really like, where is Elon Musk? Like, let's get on this.
Great. Fantastic. Well, fantastic. Yeah, I think we have a lot to do, and we can join a lot of people here in that room if you want. I'm inviting myself.
Great, then we start. But maybe can I add one more comment to the question about what digital can do globally? Because I feel that it's, you know, helping people not become pregnant is a really daunting task, and that's maybe a little bit down the road, but just even helping people understand what is a period, you know, how do I take care of my newborn baby? Like, there's so much information that will change lives. And having said that, I have a lot of sort of humbleness around how hard it is to go to markets that are very different and actually be helpful. So these are services that need to be co-developed with the people that really understand the context. So I don't believe that like whatever I'll do here in Berlin, I'll just ship it, you know, the global app store and we're done. Like, that's not how it works, unfortunately. But do I think that we can together create really good solutions? Yes, and actually one example that I've seen that I thought was really cool was a fantastic entrepreneur out of Pakistan, and she has built what she calls Siri for female health. So this is a chat box where people anonymously can ask questions and get answers back on their phones. And I think these kind of interventions are very powerful because, of course, the more you know, the more you start asking for, and the more you know to ask and get healthcare.
You are getting information about the need, the real need. That's the point. Well, Dr. Maike, I changed your name, sorry. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, it's a relief. The ability to get a diagnosis of a particular health issue from my home is a real advantage. I mean, could you explain us more about the home diagnosis? It's safe, we can get accuracy. How it works, the application and health innovations to get at home a real diagnosis and prognosis maybe, and maybe a call to action, or I need to go to the urgency room or not. I want to go deep in this time.
So I'm also dealing a lot about the topic with the topic telemedicine, and I think anyway that this is the future, that women at home will be not only women, people at home will be the core of healthcare. So they will collect the data, they will do with point of care solutions, they will do testings, they will have to reach out to doctors sometimes, but not always. They have to have the chance to reach out if they would have to. And I think, for example, in sexual transmitted diseases, home testing and self-care would help a lot, because like now we have a very high number of undiagnosed people having chlamydia. Let's say chlamydia is it's hard to diagnose for the patient themselves, so they don't feel very well, have maybe some bowel pain, but in the end, if it's not getting treated, these people are at risk for infertility. So it's very important to be able to test this, I think. So, and I would, I think it will come anyway. So I was in a call with a huge German technology company about the future of the ambulance sector in Germany when the digitalization really took place in Germany, and they are already building point-of-care devices for home, right? So that's what they already plan and do. So it will come, and I think it's a good thing to do. Yeah, we have to, of course, educate people. We cannot leave them alone with their results, but I would say it's absolutely doable.
And you, Ida, do you have something to say to us about home diagnosis? What do you think about this? It's a future, well, it's not a future, it's a fact. We have it right now, but...
Yeah, I think it's a huge opportunity. Yes, it must come. I'm surprised it hasn't come to a larger extent sooner. What I wanted to say is that I think when we start putting users more in the driver's seat, we have the possibility to start putting all these different bits of our information together. And I feel that's almost the biggest problem right now, is that our data is so scattered. There's no, the left arm doesn't know what the right arm is doing in the healthcare system. And I feel that the more we empower the users to really understand how to get the data, create the data they need, the more they can get the care they need.
And Dr. Maike, I really want to know how much we can trust in this, in the safety of this application, in this method, for birth control mainly. I mean, from the statistic perspective, I really want to know about this.
This is a very hot topic, I would say. Okay, so, who knows how those digital birth control tools work? Well, I would say 10% of the audience, and Ida. Let's say, so if you want to understand these tools and the safety, you have to kind of look into the biology behind it. And what these tools are doing is, let's say, if you have a cycle of 30 days, 5 days of period are included, a couple of days where the ovulation is preparing itself, then the ovulation, and then the time after the ovulation. The time after the ovulation is the time where you cannot get pregnant anymore. The time before the ovulation is the critical time. So what these tools are doing, and what is also important is, as soon as the ovulation took place, the temperature in the body rises like about 0.2 to 0.5 degrees, and this is not very much, but it's enough to understand if the ovulation took place and if conceiving is very, very unlikely or impossible. So these tools are having an algorithm underlined, analyzing this temperature raise, and then they tell you, okay, it's a safe day or it's not a safe day. And to me, these tools are very cool because this method is very old. It's 150 years old approximately. Now we try to make it digital. That's a good idea because until this time, women were forced to use paper and pen and measure and so on. And I think digital tools can make this very easy and very handy for women. But on the other hand, if you see some of these providers, some of them are medical device. So what means medical device? It doesn't mean the algorithm has been tested. It just means there's some safety issues addressed, there are some studies done. The studies are done by the company, sent to the notified bodies. So to me, these algorithms are not totally proven. So, and I'm not always convinced that these algorithms are working well, and I'm not convinced that these studies are done very well always. So therefore, even if it's a medical device, we have no 100% safety that this tool is really going to work and working. So therefore, there are some numbers, some studies, and some providers estimate numbers as good as the pill, which is, to me, honestly hard to believe because when you have the pill, you don't even have an ovulation, right? So the statistical likelihood is, to me, not convincing that these tools are as good as the pill is. So that's what my opinion is. But if there are studies out there, and let's say many studies out there proving that these tools are safe, okay, I'm absolutely fine with it. But for now, this proof, to me, has not been done well. I don't know what you think about it, but...
Yeah.
Sorry, what you did. I actually totally agree, and I think there's been a lot of over-promising and under-delivering, which is really unhelpful because people get then unwanted pregnant. That's the last thing we want to do for people. So, are we out of time? For me, we have this really unique possibility that we can actually see on people's data at Clue, because we know them, right? We kind of know their pattern. We can say, hey, for you, this method might not be so helpful. You're maybe too irregular, or maybe your lifestyle is too wild, or something else is going on that is not really helpful. And for others, we can say, you know, we feel we can do a good job here. And I think that honesty of really communicating to users, and then also say, hey, for you, maybe the pill is better, or something else. I think that's really, really crucial.
So now I forgot what I wanted to say. On the other hand, you have like, I mean, what I would always say is people who are eligible for like this natural family planning method, which it in the end is, like temperature measurement, temperature rise, second half of your cycle, and you're safe. These people also might be eligible for digital tools, but people who have a very, let's say, unstable lifestyle, party a lot, work in a job with shifts, have, let's say, some conditions which cause a very unregular cycle, they are not eligible for these tools. And really have to make this sure, because like there's very often you see promises like highly accurate and something like words like that. And this is not true, because highly accurate is the IUD or the pill. And these tools are very nice, and I really support this, but we have to really understand for who this is working or for who not.
Yeah, again, I totally agree. One thing I want to add is that when we have large data set, we can do something to get probability better than we could before. And I think that's the big power of having many users, is that we can actually not just look at the individual person's pattern, but we can do a statistical sort of upgrade based on everybody's data. And that's a really big new thing in this space, which I personally think will help us get even more accurate. And then the question about the algorithms and how they're actually tested, and I mean, for sure, we need to collect much more data, keep doing clinical trials. Once you are through FDA and CE mark, there's a good indication you've done some good work, but it should never end. And we should keep innovating. As we get more sensor data, we get more input, we should keep making these algorithms better.
So maybe the last sentence.
I'm learning, I'm here.
So what I would love to see is, and that's what I'm always trying to empower, like both sides, is that startups really try to work with university hospitals to really get studies done, to really collaborate on this, because we cannot stop this anymore. People want that and they have it, and we have to make sure that they use tools which are safe. And therefore we have, like, even university hospitals, and I spent a lot of, like, many years of my life in one, but we have to open up to this. And I see a very slow movement to open up. I don't know what you think, but
well, it's interesting because we've actually done a number of research projects with universities, actually a whole handful, and we also built a feature to help people understand if they might have PCOS. We can't diagnose, so I can't use that word, and we also don't diagnose, but we tell people, hey, looking at the data, maybe go talk to a doctor and tell us if you get diagnosed. And this is something we developed together with Boston University, with one of the world's most foremost researchers there. And I think that was a great collaboration where, we can really benefit from their deep clinical and medical expertise. And we have the ability to build a digital product around this that then can help people get diagnosed in a matter of months instead of the 7 years it on average takes a woman to get diagnosed with PCOS, which is horrendous.
Yes, but apparently we have not reached that point that the apps and the methods we have, they are additional to our knowledge, additional to our other methods. So I think we need to wait a little bit to see a real birth control digital method that could apart us from another knowledge. I mean, for example, you need the app, but you need to need to be aware of your cycle, of your things, and you need to, it's a supportive method. It's not a free method, like it's because we don't have 100% accuracy. So, or even we don't have a percentage nearly from the accuracy of the pills or of another hormonal method. We need a support things beside the digital methods that actually we manage.
Well, in my mind, the ideal end state is not that we have one method which is digital and perfect for everybody. I think we need a whole range of methods because different people need different things at different stages of their lives. So I think that's really important to keep remembering. It's not this or that. We need more things to choose from.
Yeah. I'm agree with you. But well, Ida, I love the fact, and I know that your clue collect a lot of data and it's working with universities, as you said before. And well, I love the idea that someone is working, taking data about our menstruation, fertility windows, sex drive, mood from users, no? Because this could generate in the future and right now as a massive data that will be correlated with medical histories at the universities, for example. And this maybe allow us to make possible have a self-caring services. That's, for example, I think, and get, as I say before, a home diagnosis. But my point is developing these self-caring services give rises to many challenges in the medical field and biomedical professional as us, because I'm not sure if we are prepared for that. I mean, what needs to change in the offline system to receive and support the home diagnosis and all this data that you are getting from, for example, your system?
I actually feel that's more a question for you because you know the healthcare system much more.
I mean, there's a study out there from Alexander Schachinger telling us that 72% of patients would like to get an app recommended by their doctors. So like a huge amount of people, but only 9% already do this by now. So 9% of doctors are recommending tools to patients by now. So there's a huge gap, I would say. And on the other hand, there are 30% of patients who would like their doctors to explain them how the tool works. Yeah. And for now, I mean, in our healthcare system, at least in Germany, there's no space for this because you don't have the time. I mean, you all know it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes you have with your doctor, so it's really hard to imagine that the doctor explains an app in detail in 5 minutes. So I think many things have to change. I guess there will. I mean, I think like we are on the right way right now, but it will take some time because for now doctors, they don't really see the need for going digital because like the waiting rooms are full. They're working like, I don't know how long every day for, I don't know, 12, 14 hours, you know, and for them, there's no really need to include digital tools in their daily life because, I mean, the business is already running, right? So maybe the service is getting better, but what, you know, then you get even more patients. But in this world, you maybe don't even want that. This was mean and kidding, but no, but I see the doctors, many of them that really, they don't see the need right now. I mean, that's at least what I experienced. Yeah. There are always examples which are different, of course.
Then you maybe have to become one of these different doctors. You already are, I know.
Well, we are doing a lot of things here. Fantastic. Well, I think that we have been in a fantastic discussion with a I think it's a great team to discuss this topic. I appreciate your time. Thank you, you both, for being here, and thank you, you two, for staying with us during this time. Thank you very much.